By the way. No, I don't even have a computer yet.
Good morning. It's
morning,
the Todd and
everyone.
Erin morning stream here on GetBarDaily.com. This is going to be a fun morning. We've got Tony Abbott in, our gigantic adventurer outdoors
He
guy.
is. He is a gigantic adventurer.
Who will tell you how much a modern wedding costs, and it's going to kill you.
Richard's here. That means Mike's pushing the button. So if there's a mistake today,
We all know who to blame. Us.
yeah.
Traditionally,
And
it
Richard
would
for
still
giving
be
up
us.
the spot.
And then we have the sad story of a teenager who won the lottery. Now she's not happy because she thinks everyone loves her for her money. No one even really loves
Really?
her for
Is that what she's thinking?
Yeah, trust me, when you see the picture, you'll know what I mean.
Dad finds
Okay.
his son, fireman catching babies. What?
Isn't that amazing? I know, right?
This is crazy.
This is a good morning. I'm
All
excited.
right, so let's look at that cam, shall we?
Morning Mountain Cam is brought to you by Brio Technologies, your experts in lighting, sound, and video. We might need to get a new angle because it's essentially a bunch
No.
of lights.
Look
No?
at behind the mountains. Look at the sun. Look at the morning dawn.
A faint glow.
It's breaking. Dawn is
You know,
breaking.
we actually got movement out of our broken down Blazer Cam than this. You know that, right?
No, this is perfect.
Okay, Brio
See, now
Technologies
every
is...
morning it's going to get lighter and lighter because the end is, you can see the end of winter.
Okay, BrioAudiovisual.com, of course, are proud sponsors of the Morning Mountain Cam with its faint tinge of dawn there.
We're going to mention the parking guys who got busted.
This is hysterical. You want to
Downtown.
hear the story?
The downtown parking guys.
Okay, this is funny because the guy's not thinking things through. Apparently, Jeff Clegg is a former Salt Lake City parking enforcement officer who called KUTV News to complain about the culture of bullying at the parking enforcement department, which got him fired. And then
So the personnel having issues.
And then later on, he admitted is that he got fired because he was taking pizza instead of writing parking tickets.
I would do that.
He and 3 other parking enforcement employees were fired for taking free food from the owner Cecilia Pizza downtown in exchange for not writing parking tickets
I would do that.
for
I'm
the
so
owner
sorry.
and the employees.
Mom, I'm sorry. I would
And
do
so
that.
the deal was set up by his training supervisor and the owner of the restaurant.
Right.
And they would take advantage of the deal so often that they were on a first name basis with all of the guys at the pizza joints. It was like, hey,
Luigi.
Steve, I'd like a pepperoni, and I'm not even going to pay attention to that double parking right in front of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am so. And you know what? It wouldn't work at a soup place because you can't ride a bike and eat soup at the same time.
not the
but
same, is it?
You can drive a bike and eat pizza. Fold that slice.
Pizza is a delightfully
I
portable
would,
food.
I would be a criminal.
It's true, they do.
I would be living in shame right now.
They're saying there's no charges filed against Cecilia Pizza.
Because it's pizza.
And
That's why.
no one wants to endanger the pizza.
No one wants to
We are
do that.
we are Utah's most awarded video podcast.
Oh, yes. There. Enjoy.
Awarded. In any case, so yeah, they that's very, very funny. Yeah. So
Now,
There
we
you
have,
go.
We have. I would do that. eBay. It's nice to have eBay in the state, isn't it?
big, massive, gigantic eBay. This
It
is
is nice.
But this is freaking hysterical. Apparently, eBay tops the list of the Wasatch Front property tax delinquents.
Excuse me.
It is
What's that mean?
our property tax delinquent, our biggest one. Apparently, their check was rejected for their property taxes.
From PayPal? That can't happen.
Exactly. The multi-billion-dollar auction and sales company. It sent a $1.16 million check just before the deadline for property taxes on
Right.
its massive data center.
Right.
This is the one in South Jordan that's kind of like the heart of all their online operation. It's huge. It's a craziness thing. So it is now officially the largest property tax delinquent along the Wasatch Front.
That just seems a tad odd, doesn't it?
We
At
know
least they
that.
paid. They did pay though, so that's good.
How do you know?
Because at the last minute you said that they.
No, they
came-
did it at the
Who
last.
else?
No, they did it at the last minute, but it didn't clear. So
Oh,
they're still delinquent.
Been there, done that.
So eBay was number one. Watson Laboratories for
Don't know.
over $500,000. Don't know them.
No.
They're all LLCs. That's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
funny. Central Utah Investment Company LLC 430. Expressway Business Park LLC 363. Harmony Development 301. The only one that's an actual person is Mark Wilson for
Mark?
278.
Come on,
That's awesome.
come on, get it
That's
to
very
it.
funny. They did, however, the eBay spokeswoman wrote an email and she goes, well, now the bank will honor the check so we can confirm as of today
Sure.
that the taxes have been paid.
I have a question for Daisy, really quick. Let me just ask her because you're going to be talking about weddings. Daisy, did you have a big fancy wedding? Not really. Was it economical?
Yes, it was economical.
Come here,
Yours was
please.
beautiful.
If you would.
Oh no, she got married
It's not
down
like I'm
just.
ordering people around.
Oh, they're used to it, honey. You're
Don't
kind of
hurt me.
bossy. No, Daisy's was beautiful. She got married.
Thank
You got married down at Zions, right?
Yeah.
Have a seat. I like
Sure
your
did.
jogging move.
I
know.
know. I don't know where that
Do.
came from, but I'm just like when they come in.
All right,
I'm
you
You
guys
do.
talk
It's like
about
your
that.
thing. No, but this is really cool. It's you guys got married down at Zions National Park. It's a lodge just outside of there, right?
Yes, yeah. So some friends of ours have a bed and breakfast down there, and so we went through various kind of things with our wedding that at one point we were completely going to elope because there was, a few differences.
What do you mean you're not going to invite them? Yeah, I remember that one.
And everyone was a bit taken aback because I'm not one of those girls that started imagining my wedding when I was like 4.
Man, neither was I.
know,
My
and
sister
so-
had like a hope chest full of crap by the time she was 18. I'm like, what? Really?
Exactly.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And so
and I'm not criticizing.
you
it was
might have
important
felt
to her,
like this too, but I felt like everyone was like, take the lead. What do you want? And I'm like,
but I don't know.
whatever, I'm good with, So what we
You
did.
were the guy. That's awesome.
Yeah. What we did was we had a nice wedding, but we also found some really good ways to cut corners, and so it didn't end up being super expensive.
You had like a 1920s Great Gatsby style wedding, didn't you? Because of your name Daisy, which was perfect.
Yeah.
And
So-
your hat is perfection. Your wedding hat.
But there's some interesting little things that you can do if you want to have a nice wedding, but you don't want to completely break the bank. Such as we ordered our food from and our cakes. We had little cupcakes, and we ordered them
fun.
all from like a market down in Zion. So rather than but one of the really good ways you can save money with a wedding is rather than order a wedding cake and a wedding dress and because that hikes the prices up, but we just ordered cakes from a market down there, and they were gorgeous.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, and the little cupcakes, I think they worked out at like $1 each, and they had like little daisies on the top, and
Of course they did.
so I don't know how much our wedding cost altogether, but I think it was about $5,000.
I'm guessing it wasn't this. The average cost, I still can't believe this, of an American wedding in 2016 was $35,329. $35,000. That is a down payment on a house.
That's my exact issue.
Right?
I'm all for it if you want to drop a ton of money, but our thing was like, it's a day.
Well, I had my friends all take pictures, and we did the thing with
did
the
that
camera
too.
pictures. The cameras on the table, and everyone could take pictures.
Yeah.
And I wore my sister's dress. It was a Vera Wang. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna get anything better than that. And we took we had Mark Eaton's restaurant. We used the Tuscany because it was Scottish, and we did it on a Sunday morning and got the whole restaurant, and it was perfect. So yeah, the whole same thing about cutting corners. But it's funny, they're saying the millennials are still being super creative though, because they say that a down payment on the house, which you and I were like, no, what they do is they say that's what the cash registry is for. Because people are getting married older now, they're saying we want cash, and before that seemed to be a little gauche. There's some cultural areas or some cultures where it's like, yeah, totally, slap it on, give me some money. You dance with the bride, you give her money, and that's fine. But this is now they're just saying that it's completely appropriate. And instead of doing like the little party favors and junk people used to send everyone home with, now they do like they're spending all their money on like really cool like tableside cooking, and it's not like the chicken or steak question anymore. So, but $35,000.
That just seems well, and I think there's almost like a culture where if one of you says, you know what, we can kind of cut some corners and do this, it's almost like you're saying that you're not committing to the wedding or something. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like we have to go all out, but I was not one of those brides at all.
And I think everybody's just beautiful in it, but I do like the ones better that you're right, that are creative, that they come up with a clever way to do something versus I went to one wedding up at the brand new Four Seasons in Park City. I think it was like their first wedding. They spent $100,000 on flowers.
No, that's just And how
They
long
also
do
got
they
divorced
last?
18 months later. But I was like, $100,000. I don't know why I was obsessed with that. And Todd kept going, shut up. Because he never says shut up to me. He was like, please don't say that. But during the whole wedding, that's all I could repeat over and over is $100,000 on flowers.
Well, they last, what, a week?
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's ridiculous.
It just, yeah, okay, thank you. I feel better. Cause
I'm all for it if you want to. Don't mind
if
it
you
all,
can
but-
afford it, you don't care, and you can get a house later, that's great. But for most of us, that would be like, okay, I feel
Release
better.
the hounds.
I
Oh, that's
managed to do
doves.
that whole segment without smacking the table. Did
I
you
know!
notice? I had my hands
Yeah.
like this, and I didn't.
So Todd did it for you.
Nice
Thank
job.
you, Daisy.
Nice.
I
And
appreciate
the jog out.
advice.
She's so funny. She's so funny.
Almost $36,000.
What
And
was
they-
her wedding? Was it expensive?
She
You were
said it was
talking, I
less than
out.
5. And that's what they're doing now. It's because there's the time-honored argument, but wouldn't you rather have a house for that? And what they're saying is, oh no, that's what
Furniture.
the cash registry is going to be for. You will all pay for
What?
the down payment on our house.
What?
That's the plan
Yeah,
now.
they don't
That they-
belong to the right family.
They want to spend all their money on the wedding, but they're
Right.
expecting now, because it's appropriate, I guess, in the millennial culture to give cash as your wedding gift, that they want the cash instead, and that's supposed to pay for the down on the house.
You know, and then you get to a situation. Talk about your dad just a little bit, where you get married once, and it's like, oh, here you go, and then you get married twice, and it's like, whoa, here you go, second chance. You get married 3 times, and it's like, okay, well, there's a certificate, and then number 4, there's a fondue pot that you got 4 years ago for Christmas, and then number 5,
the Basement Relief Society at the ward,
that's where it happened.
and there's number.
6,
That's when we checked in by phone. How's it going?
yeah.
It's good.
Send us a selfie. And you really can't expect gifts.
And then there's a recommitment
Past
ceremony
5, 4 or
that
5.
technically counts as
Yeah.
where we're like, where the Dad's wife called me and said, "Aren't you sending a gift?" And I went,
No,
"It's your recommitment ceremony."
you're getting married again because you didn't learn.
I did give up and gave them a check so they could have the candy bar at the
It's
reception.
like Baskin Robbins gift certificate half off. That's just the way it works. I'm sorry.
My dad loves women. Loves them.
This is sad. Well, this is sad. This is sad. Women are more likely to have winter depression.
It really is literally sad.
Than men.
Seasonal affective disorder. Yeah.
Right, and now
Do they explain why? It's obviously genetic.
Well,
Why?
it's genetic, but here's the deal. There's treatments for it in different places in Alaska where the sun goes away for 4 months or something crazy. It's a major issue, and that's how they've been dealing. You know, that's where all the studies have been done. Is they give you light therapy, where you sit in front of a very bright light and you do your work or whatever, and it's supposed to help you up because otherwise you're just stuck into a.
Yeah,
you're just stuck into
that's
a
how they
deal.
recalculate everybody.
Right.
Recalibrate everybody up in the north when it's like just dreadful. Yeah.
So it's basically, and here's the sad thing, is that women are more likely to have it.
Do they say why?
I turned to page 2. Nope, that's pretty much it. Sorry.
You want me to read it and see if there's any?
No, there isn't. Here, go ahead. Read the last paragraph.
There's nothing on the front page.
No.
Clinicians should be aware of these population level sex differences and seasonal mood variation to aid the recognition and treatment of depressive symptoms around the calendar year.
So we've just made you aware of a problem. Would you read this quote
Probably
at the bottom
already
of this
knew.
page?
Clearly, this is a complex but important area that requires further study.
You're on your own.
They really don't.
Google.
Yeah, they even admit it. Yeah, we don't know why it's like that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But there's that typical thing that we used to laugh at people. Is that, take a walk. Actually, it could help.
That does. Yeah, but the whole thing, cheer up, think positive.
No,
it's
not
like,
that.
No,
That deserves a slap.
people are depressed. It's hard to think positive. Oh, speaking of people who deserve a slap.
Now, when you said, I think I've read this story. It's a wonderful story about a young person who won the lottery. And it was amazing how a young person had their stuff together so much that they took that money, $416 million, I think it was, and actually changed part of the world
That's beautiful.
for the better. Is that this story?
No, that's not this one.
Oh.
No. This is the youngest person who ever won the lottery in Britain. Jane Parks, 21 now. She won several million at the age of 17, and she said she was too young to cope with the sudden flood of wealth and
She
attention.
looks like a natural woman.
As you can tell, she's had some work done since.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's had some work done for that. She goes, I wish I had no money most days. I say to myself, my life would be so much easier
Really?
if I hadn't won. She says she's sick of shopping and misses the hustling for a paycheck.
Oh, the poor little witch.
And has struggled to find a boyfriend who's not using her for the money.
Right.
I don't think that's why they want to date you, kitten. It's the
Yeah, I think
surgery
it is. Yeah.
no,
it
that
is.
surgery was. Yeah,
Well, that comes along with the
Mm-hmm.
package.
Now she
Yeah.
owns a flashy purple Range Rover, 2 residential properties, and she's traveled the globe with the lottery cash. But she says, my lifestyle has
happy.
only made me feel empty.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about giving any of that to charity? I was just curious. 'Cause
Ramen
if it
noodles.
seems like it's really weighing on you. You could have given it to charity where people are starving.
Well, it's easy now with hindsight,
yeah.
isn't it?
And she goes, people look at me and think, I wish I had her lifestyle. I wish I had her money.
I'm one.
But they don't really.
Not her boobs, though. I don't
She
want
goes,
those.
They don't really realize the extent of my stress. I have material things, but apart from that, my life is empty. What is my purpose in life? Well, it could have been, once again, donating some of that money to people who really desperately needed it instead of,
Or just
which was probably
starting
your
a-
5th operation.
Starting a program. Well, we're not here to judge.
She says instead of turning to God or
That's fair.
therapy, she's decided to turn to a lawyer instead.
Okay, good.
She's going to sue the National Lottery
For
because it shouldn't be allowing teenagers to play the lottery because they're just not ready for it. So she says
excuse me. Whoa.
she's suing them
Whoa.
for $50 million.
Well, she needs more.
Because they made her unhappy.
Okay, let me
That she wasn't ready for the stress.
stop the wagon. Hang on. The woman wins the lottery. She spends the money. She gets a set of. She is not happy.
Probably a lot of other things, the hair
She
extensions.
turned around and is suing
the
the
lottery
for letting her win
because it made her sad.
and makes her life aimless and with no focus.
Makes her sad.
Well, she's just stupid. And I'm not a doctor, but that's a bad raging case of stupid.
Well, it's interesting. The legal age in Britain is actually 16.
Right.
So that's why at 17, yeah, you could legally win just the same way you could win here if you're 18. But developmentally, I don't think people who are 16 or 17 or even 18 for that matter. Well, we've heard so many stories. I'm not sure anyone is developmentally ready for that kind of money, but just the fact
Well, she's
that
developed. Ooh.
she's developed, yeah. Just the fact that she's decided the thing that will help her because she's lonely and sad.
Suing the lottery.
Is suing the lottery for more money.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. There you go.
All right, so coming up,
Good times.
we're going to be talking about firefighter.
I know.
Firefighter, and the scene at the fire, their main job was catching babies.
Midair.
Plural.
Let's go to Daisy first. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Always Black Friday, where it's 30 to 75% off every day. Denali Performance Clinic. Now, this is where you can get rid of those miserable joint pains and your migraine without opioids. And All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air with a winter special to make sure that your system is running to save you hundreds of dollars in energy costs at allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
17th on GephardtDaily.com. Police say foul play is now strongly suggested in the case of 2 teens missing from Eureka, whose Jeep was found near Cherry Creek Reservoir Thursday, hidden in trees and with 2 flat tires. 17-year-old Braylon Otterson and 18-year-old Riley Powell set out for Spanish Fork New Year's Eve weekend and never returned home. The circumstances surrounding the recovery of the vehicle, its condition, and general placement is determined to be highly suspicious, police said Tuesday. Those factors, in addition to other investigative leads and pieces of evidence, lead investigators to believe the Jeep was dropped off there by intention and not by those 2 missing individuals. Anyone with information on the teens' whereabouts is asked to call 911. 2 people were injured in a Tuesday morning shooting in Magna. The victims, a 17-year-old male and a 56-year-old man, was struck outside the State Street liquor store at 7250 West and 3500 South just after 10 a.m. when shots were fired from a passing vehicle. 1 victim was hit in the neck and 1 in the stomach. Both were taken to the hospital in critical condition. The suspect vehicle is a small Nissan with a hatchback, possibly a small SUV. Anyone with info is asked to call police. And the Sundance Institute has updated its code of conduct for the film festival, as well as introducing a 24-hour hotline, which will allow festival goers to report anything that violates the new code. The hotline has been set up in partnership with the Utah Attorney General's office. It was announced Monday. The 2018 festival kicks off Thursday, running through January 28th in Park City, Salt Lake City, and the village of Sundance itself. And time now for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual specialists. Our winter warm spell continues with highs in the low 50s and upper 40s over the next couple of days. The picture changes heading into the weekend with a series of storms expected to dump snow across much of the state starting Friday night. And it looks like the snow could continue into next week. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to GoParkDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
All right, so I got to tell you about All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They got a great deal going on right now, and I know it feels kind of warm outside, but if you're looking forward to upgrading your system in your home, furnace and AC, and you do that because they work together, All Utah Plumbing has a great deal going on right now. They'll give you $2,000 off the pair. Also give you a free air scrubber. Who couldn't use that? And then that's another value. So basically, you're going to save $3,200, which basically will pay for your furnace. If you want more information, just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Okay, tell me something good. This is amazing. Are you ready for this?
Who is this brought to us by?
It's brought to you by Always Black Friday, of course, our friends up in Ogden who just opened their brand new store, and it's amazing. You can go online to alwaysblackfriday.com, see some of the inventory before you go up. They have incredible, ridiculously good deals, 30 to 75% off, and everything from expensive high-end cookware to beautiful ski coats to drones. I mean, amazing stuff. This takes place in Chicago, and if anyone has ever been in Chicago in winter, you probably just wanted to die, or you were frozen in place and you couldn't even move enough to actually die. Because
It's the Windy City.
It's way beyond even the cold, and then the chill that comes off the lake, and then the wind chill that comes with it. So essentially, you are a frozen solid lump for about 4 months per year. Jessica Bell's an attorney. She's an advocate for the homeless in Chicago. So it's interesting that she actually got to see this. She was riding the subway home, and there was a homeless man on the subway, and he was talking to another man. He said, and the guy goes, "Man, where are you from?" He goes, "I'm from Louisiana." And he was wearing a ratty pair of running shoes. You can see them there.
Right.
And he had folded down the back like a slipper so he could wear several pairs of socks. She goes, "I don't know how many pairs of socks that he was wearing in an attempt to keep warm, because this is a guy who walks the streets all day, but there's blood seeping through."
No.
So 38-year-old Maurice Anderson was traveling back from his hometown to visit his daughter. He does this every weekend. He takes the subway, and he was the one who had started talking to this man, and he said, "I'm going to give him my boots." And then he thought, "This is crazy. I just bought these boots like 2 weeks ago, and I paid $260." But he spent a lot of money because he needed to be warm. It's freezing there.
Yeah.
And he went, "No, I'm going to do it." And so within 30 seconds, he was unlacing them, and he asked the man what size he wore. And the guy goes, "I'm a size 12." And Maurice says, "I'm a size 12 and a half. These are perfect." And so Jessica, who's the one who's watching this, says, "In a blink, you'll miss it fashion." The younger man takes off his boots that he's wearing. He gives them to the old man, opens his suitcase, and gives him a pair of socks as well. Fortunately, Maurice had a spare pair of shoes in the suitcase because he was going to visit his daughter. Put those on. And here's the thing. He could have, Jessica points this out as she's writing, he could have given the other shoes. He said they were serviceable.
They were light shoes.
But they weren't anywhere as good as these other ones. But they were perfect. Nice. He goes, "Look, I can only and when they talked to him later and asked him about this, they said, "Why did you do this?" He says, "If you've got 5 pairs of shoes, you can still only wear 1 pair at a time."
This is true. This is
and he
true.
goes, "I only wish that I'd had more socks." Now, the thing that was so beautiful, this is back to Jessica. She goes, "The reason I posted about this is because we've all seen people give food or money to the homeless, but I've never seen anyone literally give the shoes off their feet."
Yeah.
I remember one time when you and I were we did a fun morning with the Salvation Army. We were out ringing the bell, and it was before Christmas, and we did the show live from a street corner. And we were talking basically about how cold it was and what the Salvation Army does for the homeless and the rehabilitation programs. And this guy stopped in his car, and he took off his coat. It was this big, beautiful, thick down one. Handed it to me, got back in his car, and
drove away.
Off. And I'm like, this is how amazing people are. But so the beautiful thing is that they've had a chance to talk to Maurice, who was the beautiful man who gave him his boots. And the reason he'd been traveling back and forth is he couldn't find work in Chicago. And he could only find work in an outlying place, and that's why he had to travel back and forth every weekend to see his daughter. And after hearing the story,
Right.
there were 16 different firms that
Nice.
offered him a job. So,
And you know what? It is different, and
but just the fact that he said, I have 5 pairs of shoes
Right.
and you can only wear 1 pair at a time, and I just wish I'd had more socks.
when you see people in the cold, there is a difference between being cold and going out for an afternoon, and there's a difference between that and being out in the cold 24/7.
And this is
Huge,
all I have.
and I know that
yeah.
sounds like stupid, but no, your body's like dying for calories to keep warm and all these different things, which is they're limited to, and just a place to sit. And once you sit, you're getting colder. I mean, it's just.
And then someone's pushing you off from there. Go sit somewhere else. We don't want you here.
I'd so much rather be hot than cold.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I mean, and you're right. This is a stupid thing again, but you remember all the times that we've been ice fishing, and you
Right.
tried to prepare me the first few times, and you dressed me in layers and blah blah blah. You come out of there though, and it's like you can barely breathe, and you're
tired,
exhausted,
yeah.
and you want to just fall over and fall asleep
Because your
because
body's
you're so
been
tired.
cranking to keep your
Yeah.
your temperature.
And this
up.
is for a couple of luxurious hours of ice fishing where you always feed me like a princess.
And you have the gear.
yeah. So
Yeah.
imagine being that person who does this 24/7.
I want to take
So
you
I love
to.
Maurice.
I want to take you to Atlanta.
I want to see this video. I'm about to die. Tell,
But I
tell
have
me,
to
tell me,
set. I have
tell
to
me.
set it up
Set
because
it up.
otherwise you're going to freak out. So basically, the Atlanta Fire Department shows up at an apartment complex and it's on fire. So, and this starts with one of the female firefighters, and she said, well, you know, we got there and we started setting up our gear, and she jumps on the ladder to get up to the 3rd-story balcony because it's on fire and there's people there, and she gets about halfway up the ladder. The thing was, and it was hot. She had her gear on, was to get to the balcony. Well, she made it halfway up and caught a baby. Didn't see it coming.
She didn't even know that they had thrown the
All
baby.
right, so we're going to show you this. And there is screaming and stuff, but I want you to know that everyone was okay. Watch. Is this amazing?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll just catch a baby.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Get the kid down, make sure she's cooled off, make sure she's all right. Next person up. Is that amazing? You're just going to catch a baby. You're just going to catch a baby. So someone's going to drop a baby and you're going to catch a baby. That wasn't a baby, by the way.
That was a toddler.
That was a toddler.
Did you see her? She was holding onto the ladder with one hand and she suddenly reached out and grabbed her by the other. I can't even begin
Crazy.
to imagine that. How did she even have the presence of mind? There's smoke. You're wearing
Here,
a
read
big
some
helmet.
of the quotes there.
Visions obscured.
Yeah.
Captain Jackie Peckrell. And all I was thinking is, oh God, don't drop her. I started going up the ladder, and my plan was actually to get up on the balcony with them so I could help them get down on the ladder and have someone else assist them down. But I got about halfway up there, and here comes a baby down to my arms.
Oh,
this is the
good
woman.
grief.
She catches the toddler who was tossed from the 3rd-floor balcony. And I, as a mom, I would do the same thing, engulfed in flames. It was one of the dozen rescued that day by the crew. It was so hot you could feel it from the ground, and they don't have the gear on, so they were just ready for us to come and get them.
Right.
And they didn't think that they could wait, and they were terrified for their baby.
Drop your baby.
One arm on the ladder, one not even seen. Think about the helmets that obscure your face, all the
Holy
fire protection.
crap.
And she caught the baby and managed to hold her just long enough to get her dropped to the next firefighter who raced underneath her.
It's amazing.
Oh my
It's
God.
amazing. Get her away from the fire. That's amazing to me. Well, there you go. We do a video show. People are catching babies out there. That's amazing.
All right, well, we attempt to compose ourselves.
All
We'll be
right.
back in just a couple of minutes. Tony Abbott's in studio. This is our friend who is the worldwide adventurer who's been to literally every continent on the planet, and he's got a really cool show coming
get
up.
him.
So we'll see you in just 1 minute while we compose ourselves. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by UtahCreditApproval.com. Bad things happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track and get a reliable automobile by giving them a call. 801-404-7201. And also by Columbus Travel with spectacular deals on cruises and all-inclusive vacations. Go to ColumbusVacations.com. And all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where they have a winter special that they can check out your furnace and make sure that it's operating efficiently, saving you hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. Did you know that you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and GephartDaily.com any time of the day or night?
At Always Black Friday, we love a good deal. We buy new and used products at a discount so we can pass on the savings to you. And we're Gephardt approved. From electronics to clothing to appliances. If you want it, we have it at discount prices. Visit our eBay store or come to our warehouse at 865 West 12th Street in Ogden. Always Black Friday, where you can find Black Friday deals all year round.
Happy Black Friday!
All right. Welcome back to the Todd and Erin morning stream, GephartDaily.com. Tony is here. Tony Abbott, adventurer at large.
I'd say larger than life, but he really
How
is.
you guys doing?
doing
How you
good.
doing, darling?
You can't be any larger. I would say larger than life, but no, this is the largest they get.
You know what? Sometimes bigger's better, sometimes smaller's better. It just depends where you're at.
Yeah.
We got the big
yeah.
outdoor expo coming up,
we
UVU,
do.
March
Oh,
9th
look,
and 10th.
How you
brand
doing?
Sweet,
Do I
nice.
look like I've been doing my push-ups?
Yeah,
Very
here
nice.
you go.
Very nice work, yeah.
So how many vendors at this point?
Exactly?
No.
Generally,
Over 100.
Over 100.
Nice.
Yep, over 100. And now some of them have taken multiple booths.
Okay.
And so my inventory is shrinking. In other words, get
right.
in now.
Oh, yeah, if you're a local person and you do outdoor
Yeah.
stuff, and this
Yeah.
is about everything outdoors. This is about jogging. This is about fishing and camping and guiding and everything.
they like you have fire. Someone who does fire pits, which by the way, I totally want one. I think
You
they're
want a
so
fire
cool.
pit? I think I
Yeah,
can arrange
right?
that. Yeah, you know, that's the big thing. We talked last week, and the big deal is I want something for everybody.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you want to hunt or fish or hike or take photos
Right.
or pick flowers.
Yeah.
I want someone to come there and say, I want to get outdoors. I'm inspired.
Now, what's like the most interesting vendor so far in terms of like unusual? Like, okay, I
Oh,
totally
wow.
see
Put
that.
me on the spot. Arr, arr. Go to a break, please. Can I
Yeah. No time.
And never mind, because anyone you say that all the other people are going to call and go, you didn't think I was the most interesting? So it's like being a dad. You
I'm
love
going
them
to get
all.
in trouble. Well,
You
some
love them
people
all.
have neat little ways to roast marshmallows. Like, you know, it's
The cool
it's-
sticks and
It's a
stuff.
new little
Yeah.
stick.
Little
and,
stuff,
You
right.
know, and some people comes in. It's a new way to run. This insole for their
Right.
shoe gives you this much more. I mean,
And there's another guy who's got a tent that goes on top of your car, which
yeah,
is
with a ladder that
which
comes
is
off
awesome.
the side. And you're like, it'll protect you from bears.
No, it just slows them down.
Now, you started the original one back in Salt Lake City a while ago, but how long have you been doing the one down here in Utah County?
So this will be my 4th year, and that's the cool thing about it. There just wasn't a show in Utah
Yeah,
County.
yeah.
Salt Lake's got any
Yeah.
number. You guys have been to a ton of them.
Yeah.
And you know the ones have been going up here for a long time, but Utah County hasn't, and so year 4, man,
No.
people are still coming.
They keep getting bigger and more and more and more of them every year too, which is the nice part. So, I mean, in terms of this year's adventure, because like I said, you've been everywhere in the world. What's this year's adventure plan? You've got to have something
For
awesome
you,
coming
yeah.
up.
You know what? I'm actually
Show pictures if you got them, by the way.
it's some pictures.
Good.
I haven't been to Thailand, so I go to Thailand 2 weeks after the show ends,
Oh, I want to go
and
to Thailand.
we're going to. I think it's called Phuket or Phuket.
Okay.
I don't.
You're asking us to. What is it?
I think it's Phuket.
Phuket.
Yeah.
Okay, that's if you put the word up there, you kind of like be careful when you say it,
Right,
just so
right,
you
right.
understand. But
what are you going to do there?
I am going to. Well, I'm going to do a lot of things, but my main thing is I'm going to dive. So I love diving. It's a whole different world. People that haven't scuba dived
Right.
are missing out on 90% of the earth.
And that area of Asia
true,
has,
right?
has just got amazing ecosystem underneath.
Oh, it's
the marine life is
unbelievable.
incredible there.
Yeah.
There's stuff
and
that's
I
developed
hear
there
that the Thai massages are a little above average.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, for a long sore day of spearfishing.
I work hard. You know?
Yeah,
My wife's
yeah.
like, "You're going where?" And I'm not going with you.
Yeah.
And you want to be married how much longer?
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a good point.
So Thailand's the next one for me.
Oh,
I got a
fun.
couple little things, but I'm really focused on the expo right now. I got a little hunt. We got a bunch of youth we take down to Arizona. The end of January every year. It's about 75 degrees, and they hunt javelina. I don't know if you know what javelina are. They're these.
Yeah.
They look like
Pigs.
rats. Yeah, but they're And so we go down there. We have kids, and we get new ones every year, and it's a great experience for them. But the next big one is Phuket, and then down to New Zealand.
Okay, now I heard a story
Wait,
about.
I want to know what your passport looks like.
Of which one?
Yeah, how many?
That's
have you
what
run
I was
through?
looking for.
Seriously, how many have you run through?
That's
in your
why I
life?
hate
I
you.
don't know. They did, and it's funny because you get there and they start flipping through pages,
Right.
And they're like,
You're homeless.
they look at me, and then they start. I'm like, yeah, I'm Jason Bourne. You know, I'm.
Sure, that's it. So I heard a story about you. You have to confirm or deny this. I heard that everywhere you go, you insist on feeding the missionaries.
You know what I do?
That's so funny
Well,
to me.
especially people around here understand the concept, whether you're Mormon or not Mormon.
Right.
You know someone that served a mission or gone
Right.
on a mission.
Oh no! Trust me, we fed many a sister
Yeah.
missionary at our
Right.
house. Yeah.
And my son went to Liberia, West Africa. Okay, now let me tell you about. You want to talk about holes of the world?
They
Right.
didn't really like him much. I'm not even sure that counts as a.
Well, it was interesting because it also came down when the whole Ebola thing. Remember that?
Oh.
So he's in the middle of the Ebola, and he's like, "Dad, I talked to someone one day, and the next day this person's dead."
He must be an amazing kid for them to have trusted
You know
him
what?
with that mission.
It was just a phenomenal experience, and I just thought, man, here people are going. It's not like me. I mean, I went to Houston, Texas. It's like, geez,
Right.
I'm not very cool.
You want some
Right.
steak? Yeah.
So
okay.
I just make a habit wherever I go. If I have any time at all, I find whoever the missionaries are. I don't care if it's the males or the sisters. I don't care if it's the couples. I don't care if they're natives or not natives. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's go out and feed you. And if there's a grocery store, let me go buy you some groceries.
There you
'Cause
go.
at the end of the
love
day,
you.
well, at the end of the day, that money is not going to be that relevant to me. But the experience for them, and then to be able to take a picture with them,
Right.
send it to their mom,
And
and
we've
say,
seen
hey,
we've seen
That's
some of the
huge.
pictures.
someone
That's huge.
is looking out for it.
Right.
And you know what?
He's-
I don't do it for notoriety.
Right.
I do it because it's the right thing to do. And it doesn't matter who it is or where they're from. If there's a missionary, and I've done it for people of different religions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even more beautiful.
Take care of them.
There's someone looking out for your kid, and he's 9 feet tall. All
And
right,
they
so
call him the Red Yeti.
don't forget to
the
do this.
pictures.
It's the Big Outdoor Expo, UVU, coming up March 9th and 10th. We're going to hear more about you, and where do they go? A website.
Yeah, if they're interested as a vendor, yeah.
TheBigOutdoors.com. Get on there right there. You can apply for the booth space. It comes directly to my email.
Nice.
It blows up. I look at it. I make sure you're good to go. I send you back a confirmation, and let's get you in because booths are going.
It's going to be crazy this year too. I mean, we're
Looking forward
talking
to
like
it.
12, 13, 14, 15,000 people probably
Yes,
coming
and it
through.
should be
So-
good. And Todd and Erin will be there.
Ah,
Of course.
Boom!
In the
Wait, where's the
corner.
mic? Where's the mic?
Still come anyway. Still come anyway. Tony, thanks so much.
You guys are
All right.
the best. Appreciate
You're
it. Thanks,
amazing.
guys.
Thank you, sweetie.
You bet.
Thanks, Tony. Hi, welcome back
Thank you, brother.
to the Todd and Erin Morning Show. GetBartDaily.com.
Sorry, I love
Tony's
that, man.
funny.
Once again, oh, by the way, seriously, if you do want to do this, just go to bigoutdoorexpo.com and you can sign up to be a vendor there. But this is going to be a fun one. I'm excited.
He's one of those guys that you see pictures that he's laying down on that bridge, the most dangerous hike in the world.
No,
in
it's not
China.
actually a bridge. It's a 12-inch board is what it is.
And
yeah.
it's on this cliff edge, and they have you clamp on and run the wire, and they take it off, put it on the next one, and he just like takes it off and lays down because he's an idiot.
Yeah, but he's a big, gigantic,
He's a big,
lurpy idiot. And that's the point.
It's gonna.
I'm excited for this show. I think it's going to be a lot
I
of fun.
am too. Hey, Netflix.
This is interesting. They broke down Netflix and what people watch state by state. And I think I actually got to Netflix later than you did. You had a subscription and you were watching it faithfully. I never really paid attention until we got a smart TV because in the past, most of our TVs either came from
They were
one of
dumb.
our family members or they were on the side of the street.
They were dumb TVs.
Yeah, they're
They're
yeah,
not smart.
They didn't graduate.
We didn't say that to them because it would hurt their feelings. Our toasters were smarter than our TVs.
Pretty much, it was a given.
Yeah.
But now I'm totally into Netflix, and it's weird because we've always marveled at how every major news outlet will go, "These are the new shows that are on this month."
Like front page on CNN, you're like,
This is how attached we all are now. But
how did you become a news story?
this I thought was pretty cool. The most popular show on Netflix nationwide is Orange is the New Black, which of course is the
Right.
show about the women in prison.
Right.
And last year's favorite was Scandal. However, this one is really interesting. Fuller House is also very popular this year. Orange is the New
Here
Black
in-
is
in
back.
Utah?
Stranger Things
Here
is
in Utah.
This is across the nation. Stranger Things is huge. Number one, though, here in Utah was Stranger Things, We watch more Stranger Things than anybody else in the country.
I have never seen the show. You keep telling me about it.
I'm so in love with this little girl. I'm so in love with her. And she just wrote this really cool essay about how you don't have to have hair to be pretty, because in the show, she's basically a test lab rat who was treated horribly, and she escapes, and these little boys are trying to save her. She has unimaginable powers now because of what she's endured. But basically, they just carelessly shave all these little lab rats' heads because they don't, they don't care. And so she's just this awesome little child. I adore her. But the actress who plays her is just, the whole crew, they're all these like really fun,
So she
weird,
really likes
quirky
the
kids.
show, evidently.
No, they're so cute. I love them all so much.
Why do you think that's the most popular show in Utah?
It's incredible. I had no idea. I
Does
really
it deal
had no
more
idea.
with compassion? Does it? I'd like to think that our society here is warmer and
Well, it's more about that. It's number one, that it's stranger than hell. It's like it's
Bizarre.
like the X-Files. But the thing though, the experience of these children together,
Right.
and their vision of the world versus the adult vision, and how they have to go around the adults to try to find ways to help each other and basically save their town is incredible to me. I don't know. It's just a really cool show. So yeah, we are number one. So you already knew all of what I was saying to him who has not seen it, but it's
I
amazing.
haven't seen it. I have a hard time committing to new shows because I'll get hooked.
Emotionally invested.
Games of Thrones, not an episode. I know.
It's Game of Thrones.
That whatever it is, the guy sits on a big knifey thing. How brave. House of Cards, not an episode. I'm not allowed to because I will be smelly on the couch with facial hair, and I won't leave it.
Santa Catalina Diet's coming back next month.
That's
our favorite show.
That's
on
one you
Netflix.
can do. You can do a series that only has one season. You will weep and cry at the end of seeing all the shows because you watch them all at once. But then no more shows
Well, that's
for
why.
a year.
But this is why I love Netflix though, because they put out the whole season at once. It's not like you have to wait week after week. Because
Yeah, but then
none
you
of us
end
have
up on
an
the
attention
couch.
span for that.
You haven't showered in a week, and you're just like binge watching.
It's pretty much the same as always then for you, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Okay, then there's
So
nothing to worry
learned
about.
it from our kids.
Nothing to worry about.
No one out there has not thought about this, and the fact that remember when they started charging for bags on the airport in the airports and stuff, and how
Do you know they're as high as $50 a bag now?
how it made you feel, and you just and then say I'll just get a bigger bag, and then they start charging you for over 50 pounds, 40 pounds, 60, 50, and then you're like you. Jerk, and then you think I'll just wear lightweight coats and stuff, but then you're going to Alaska and you would die. There's a designer in London, and so he said,
I think this is a can-do attitude.
he said, I'm not going to pay that thing. So he opened his bag and he put all his clothes on.
10 shirts, sweaters, coats. Now here's the thing that I feel is very unfair about poor Ryan.
Right.
They threw him off the plane.
They did.
And not only that, the return flight that he was supposed to take, they had heard about him being his can-do attitude.
Right.
And they also refused to put him on the plane. So he had to actually demand a refund so they could go find another another flight that they would let him on. But all he wanted to do was avoid the excess baggage fee.
Always, all of us have thought about that.
But they just didn't think that was funny.
No.
I don't see why. They said they took him off because he was disruptive, and I'm not sure how wearing 10 shirts counts as disruption.
You would be poofy. How do you fit 10 pairs of pants on?
I have 8 pairs of trousers, 10 shirts. How?
Where do your extra shoes go?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, I think
Anyway.
that was very unfair of them.
All right.
Well, here's an app that really sucks. Literally, because this is something you kind of plan on. It's over there. You've got the story.
I don't want to touch
Orange?
this with a 10-foot pole or any other kind. Here you go.
All right, here's the deal. We all have apps that we love. We all have apps that we depend on daily, right?
Like what?
Well, anything from your alarm to...
My alarm clock is the most important thing I have on my phone.
Yeah, and there's a million. The pedometers that tell you how many steps you've walked, or your fitness trackers.
Do you
or
have
all
a
the other things.
pedometer?
I refuse to upgrade to the latest version because I don't want to have to figure out my phone again. So my pedometer system doesn't work anymore because it upgraded.
Oh.
So I have to find one that goes to an old version.
We go to the dollar store and get one that goes on your belt.
May as well.
Okay.
But there's an app called Natural Cycles, and basically it's supposed to measure like your body temperature and a whole bunch of different things. That's supposed to basically set.
Wait. Whoa.
Days that it's okay to have unprotected sex. It's listed as green on the calendar.
We're talking about couples, obviously.
And then
Together couples, not just random.
Obviously, because you're trying
Okay.
to either try for conception or avoid conception.
Right, right.
And then it shows on red days, couples are advised to use an extra form of protection.
Right.
Now, they say that also it's more effective when a contraceptive pill is used.
Right.
Which sort of like seems to me to diminish the reason for having the app in the first place.
Right.
But apparently, a Swedish hospital is at the point where they've come to the end of their rope and they've actually filed a legal complaint against Natural Cycles.
Saying, hey.
They say it's under fire because apparently, they said 4% of women who use this get pregnant, unwanted pregnancies.
They got to see that coming, though.
And so at this point, they're going, you're not effective. And they said, well, our fail rate is only 2.5%. And for the women,
It's
they're
a
like,
fail rate, but I mean, obviously, you get a beautiful baby, which is awesome.
it is wonderful, but if you're not prepared for said beautiful baby, it is a problem. Yeah,
Let me put this into context for you, okay? My phone and the GPS tracking system in it has put me in the middle of an empty parking lot saying that I have arrived at my destination.
Remember that
Now,
time?
I'm going to trust this to tell me if I'm having kids or not. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's right. I think that it's your fault.
There's a lot of things I'll trust my phone for, but that's not one of them.
It's
That's not, and I can't picture coming to Todd and going, hey, baby, I know we agreed we weren't going to have any more kids, but I was using this free app, and
free app, really?
it said I was fine, so...
And the ads on it for
I'm
baby
not.
clothes. The ads on it for baby clothes and pacifiers, because they know it's going to fail. My friend, I grew up East Coast. Grew up with my friends were all Jewish and Catholic, And my friend Joey Johnson, he was Catholic, and
How many kids?
They used the rhythm method. And him and his 6 siblings were a happy bunch. And you could always go to their house for a game of kick the can because you already had half your team.
My mom and dad are both in medical professions, and what did
6.
they use? Yeah, the rhythm method, and we have 6 children, so that worked out super. That
Trust
was
your
great
phone.
planning.
That's great. That's a great thing.
So yeah, Natural Cycles may not be quite
All
as
right.
effective as you might have.
All right, so coming up, we're going to talk about Hollywood, some stuff that's going on.
Oh, so cool!
This is a peek at crimes.
Now, Crimes of Grindelwald.
Right, and that's coming up.
Now, it's really
Coming up
exciting.
next.
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink & McGregor, also by the Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with the Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. They also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink & McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
All right, I feel like I'm out of touch here because
Hollywood Connection, by the way, brought to you by Connect Heating and Air. You can go
Right.
to UtahHeatingandCooling.com to find out about all the cool maintenance schedules they have, if you like.
All right, so there's just too many choices in the world, and evidently I'm not making the correct
No,
one.
this is J.K. Rowling. This is the spin-off from the Harry Potter series, and this is
Okay.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And it started as a companion book that she wrote for the Harry
Okay.
Potter series.
All right.
Had Eddie Redmayne in it as Newt Scamander. He falls in love with Tina, who's adorable, Catherine Watterson, and it is just like what the original film was amazing. It was really, really fun. But they've come up with the latest, which is Crimes of Grindelwald. Everyone's been dying for a trailer. Nothing's shown up yet, but they finally released 2 pictures. 2 pictures are all we have, but it's least
They're so
it's
mean.
least something.
There he
yeah,
is.
if you see, he's foregone his blue wool overcoat, and
Right.
they're excited because they're taking. He's got a picture there from the City of Lights from Paris, and so that's one of the few hints that we have of where this is taking place and what's going to be happening there. But they are so
Or
adorable.
do you? Why would you have a picture on a postcard which you send away?
This is J.K. Rowling. It could be anything. Yes,
This
but
is
if you were in
true.
Paris, then you could be sending postcard
Who's
to someone.
she?
That's the witch. Isn't she precious?
He really popped his collar, didn't he?
I just love her so much. But anyway, the Fantastic Beast was amazing. But yeah, this is up next. And like I said,
Is it current day? Is it past? Is it future? Is it alternative?
It's past. It's like the 1930s ish, but it's sort of parallel, alternate universe.
So how are people who loved Harry Potter? Is this like is
It
this
was huge.
successful?
It was
This is huge.
huge beyond
Okay,
huge.
all right.
Johnny Depp is Grindelwald, and Jude
Really?
Law is playing the young Albus Dumbledore in this.
So they've got some people.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. We don't see it till November 16th, so this is as close as we've gotten so far. So.
Tell me about Miley and Liam.
No, they're good. They just
No, you're
spent the birthday together, and it was adorable. So they're still happy, which is nice to know.
Are we moving on?
We're moving on.
We're moving on.
So coming up, and we've got Daisy in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She's brought to you, of course, by Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. You can go to fink-mcgregor.com and find out you can get a mortgage for a credit score of 600. It's amazing. The Vein Clinic. Now, if you go to theveinclinic.com, go to the Riverton location and go get a consultation the way I did. I'm going in again on Friday. They fixed one of my legs for varicose veins, and now the next one's coming up. It can be pain-free, and the results are literally like immediate. It's nothing like the past. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. You can go to blackdiamondexpert.com for more information. Daisy, my darling, what's going on?
Erin, here's what's making national and world news headlines on Wednesday, January 17th on Gephardt Daily. North Korean media has called for a complete halt of joint military drills between South Korea and the United States. In a commentary published Tuesday, the North's propaganda outlet pointed at Seoul's joint military drills with the U.S. as a source of military tension, demanding that they be completely ceased. Seoul and Washington this month decided to postpone the annual springtime exercises until after the Pyeongchang Olympics and Paralympics are held from February 9th to March 18th. Japan's public broadcaster NHK issued a false warning on Tuesday for residents to take cover from a ballistic missile launch from North Korea. NHK sent out a news alert that said, quote, North Korea likely to have launched a missile. NHK said within 10 minutes the alert was a mistake. The public broadcaster later issued apologies, saying there were no reports of problems caused by the mistake and that a switching error was to blame. This comes just days after Hawaii's emergency management agency mistakenly sent a warning alert to residents about an incoming ballistic missile Saturday. And Donald Trump should try eating a carrot. That's the word from the White House doc Ronnie Jacksonis, who suggests Trump lay off the Big Macs just a wee bit. According to Doc Ronnie, Trump needs to drop 10 to 15 pounds, it was revealed after performing Trump's first physical since taking office. Other than being borderline obese, he says Trump is in overall excellent health and, quote, fit for service. Time now for a look at your Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual specialists. Expect more warm weather through the end of the week. High temps will be in the 50s and upper 40s before a series of storms blow in Friday night. The Weather Service says snow will blanket much of the state throughout the weekend, and the storms are expected to continue into next week. Maybe winter will get here after all. That's it for now. For more news from across the nation and around the world, go to giveheartdaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Dear Daisy. Thank you, my dear Daisy. We wanted to tell you about Black Diamond Experts. Black Diamond Experts are the experts. It's in the title because pretty much anything that you need in the house or in your building or your office can be done by them. That's electrical, that's plumbing, heating, and air. They can install, they can maintain, they can fix, they can swap out, they can do all that stuff. And the nice thing is you get this person who shows up, who is licensed, bonded, and insured. He gives you a lovely smile, puts on booties, and takes care of the problem. And when you get a bid from Black Diamond to do any kind of service, it's exactly what you end up paying. They don't like the little sneaky overcharges, because none of us do, so they decided not to throw that into the business. I thought that was a really good idea. By the way, they have a brand new location up in Ogden now as well, so just go to blackdiamondexperts.com. Okay, wow. Did you hear the story?
No, I love this. I love the title of it, though. Dad uses intuition to find missing son.
Well, this is incredible. Samuel Lethbridge, this is down in Australia. He'd been trapped in New South Wales. They couldn't find him. He had disappeared. Now, New South Wales has a lot of bush area. I mean, massive desert area.
Excuse me, outback.
Well, the Aboriginals, it's called bush.
Outback.
All right, the outback, fine. In any case, he was on the Pacific Highway and he suddenly disappeared. No word back to his parents.
He was driving. He was walking. What was he doing?
He was driving.
Okay.
And he just 17 years old, and so his folks were starting to freak out. And his dad Tony said, "Look, I bet he's been in a car crash." And he contacts search and rescue, and they're all trained to search him. Yeah. And it's like he's sitting there holding his wife's hand, and she's bawling, and they're just sitting there. He goes, "I can't do this." He says, "I can't just sit here."
Right.
So he hires a search helicopter. And he goes, "I'm almost positive this is what's happened." But once again, the bush around that area is very thick.
This is not like going through town. This is out in the middle of nowhere.
So if there was a crash, you may not even see it because the bush area is so thick around the highway. Right. So he's going and he's searching. He's got this extremely expensive helicopter that he's rented. And he starts closing his eyes and going, "Let me think where he is." And he literally, he says, used his intuition. He would point different directions, and the pilot went, "All right," and would go in that direction. They found his son. He had crashed. He was upside down. He had survived for 30 hours in a crashed car upside down. So,
wow.
And the thing that's the hardest about this is that, and this is nobody's fault, but I guess police traditionally say when a teenager, especially a boy, has sort of like disappeared, they always assume he's run away first. Right. And so they had been asking a lot of questions like, well, is there trouble at home? Did he pack anything? And his dad's like, "No, my son would not do this, and you're not listening to me." And this is why he lost it. And he had gone to find the helicopter. So he was the first. He found him, and he said, everyone said he ran away and all that stuff. And he says, "That's just not Samuel." And so what was amazing about this, though, is they remember that he had heard a story about a crash in the specific area, and apparently he said the poor bloke passed away because nobody found him within 5 days. And he went, right. "I bet it's the same area."
It's happened in Big Cottonwood Canyon. Someone's gone down a 100, 200-foot cliff, rumbling down, spinning, and no one saw them exit the road.
When I took
when I took Erin back east, and we were there, and she went, "Oh, there's a lot of trees here," and the turnpike just goes through trees, and on either side there's a clearing of grass for about 100 feet, and then they call it climax forest. It is huge. It's all trees. And cars have lost control, gone off the turnpike, and gone into the forest, and no one knows that they went in there.
How scary is this?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So good. I'm glad
the helicopter dropped him off about 150 meters away from the wreckage because it was too dangerous for him to land, and then the pilot hovered above him. And he says, "I really didn't want to go because I was scared of what I would find. As I got closer, I saw Sam's head move. And I went from being terrified to ecstatic in a couple of seconds." Is that the most incredible story ever? I mean, seriously.
Scary stuff.
That's
all right.
It's incredible to me.
I'm a strong man. I am ready to be judged. And go ahead.
There's no need to judge you.
This is 10 things that no man over 40 should have in their home.
Well, I would say no man over 30, because I dated a guy who was over 30, and he had the collection of exotic beer bottles in his kitchen neatly lined on a shelf. I went, oh, those are beers that you've drank. And he goes, yes, look, this one's very rare. And I went,
I'm an alcoholic.
and you saved the bottle? No, it wasn't even that so much as he was so proud of his exotic beers that he had saved the bottles.
I'm not going to judge. Go ahead.
No, I'm totally judging.
Give me the list. I'm ready.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Here's the list of 10 things they say. If you have these, no. Number one,
don't shame me.
you shouldn't have any toys in the house unless you have kids, or they're the ones that maybe you played with as a child, and maybe you're saving them for your kids.
Like Star Wars and stuff.
If you have toys that are still in the box they came in and they're up on a shelf and display, we're guessing you live alone. Number two, saving up mounds of Taco Bell hot sauce and leftover ketchup packets. Now, when you're in college, that could be a beverage, but once
That's a Bloody Mary waiting to happen.
Once you have a job and like an address,
that's not true.
Don't do that.
No,
anymore.
that's not true. That's judging. What if I camp? What if I go camping?
Are you going to listen to this list, or are you going to argue?
No, I'm gonna stand up for men everywhere. That's what I'm gonna do, lady.
By the way, they also say if you're over 40, you're old enough now to know that eating processed food is going to wreck your health and ruin your waistline. That there's a boatload of sodium, so stop buying Hot Pockets and TV dinners.
Okay, I'll go along with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TV dinners, they say, are now officially no, and I don't even care if it comes with the complimentary brownie dessert.
Isn't that awesome?
In the corner. I don't care. You still can't have it.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I had forgotten. Oh.
Here's the latest. You're a big boy now.
Okay.
It's time to put away the kids' foods, like all of the snack cakes that you have stacked up in the cabinet.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. They say it's time. It's nice to have a treat or two on a special occasion, but they said if you've got entire shelves in your pantry devoted to Little Debbie snack cakes,
snobs,
it's time to take a move on.
People are judgmental and snobbish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sweet Bud Light neon sign that you have hanging in your dorm room, that was cool. But now that it's tucked away in your living room at home, it's no longer cool.
Here's the one we had, and it was awesome. We had it in our house and lived off campus. It was big and round, looked like a spaceship. It was from Budweiser. The thing lit up, and then it had the horse pulling the wagon with all the beer on it and the dogs, and it would go around. It was so cool. People come over, we go, there it is. Oh, it was very cool. It was awesome.
That's really sweet.
What?
Whether displaying awards that you got in high school or even a team trophy from your softball league when you were 15, don't. They say, unless your life's work merited a Nobel Peace Prize, nobody gives a hoot about your past glories on the field. Except
That's
for
right.
us, of course.
Worship me, woman. Look at me. Woo!
Because we are Utah's most awarded video podcast. And here's number 10. Having fake plants around your house means that you've basically given up at adulting. If you can't take care of a real plant and water it properly and give it the proper amount of light so that it can thrive, really, what is the point of living anymore?
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
I thought it was pretty
I
reasonable.
think it just seems a little like you can be your own free spirit and eat your Debbie cakes and stuff. I think so.
All right, here's the weirdest thing ever.
You'll be alone and
Trying to stifle a sneeze can kill you.
oh my gosh.
We're not joking.
Oh my gosh, coming up next.
Seriously.
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink and McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Look at that. That's
It's
so
so
pretty.
smooth. It's so frosty. And
It's
delightful.
so light for this time of day, too.
All right, now I did not know what they call this. They call
Oh,
this
yeah.
a bottled booger blast.
No, somebody just made that up. So anyway, what kind of
That
sneezer?
is so weird.
What kind of sneezer are you? Personally, I am not around people, that it's going to harm. I like to start in my toes, and I let it ripple up my leg to my torso, throwing my head back slowly and just letting it go. And I always sneeze twice. I enjoy it. You're an outwardly sneezing person. You don't like.
And I don't do standard sneezes. I do that violent 3 in a row sneeze and then I'm
Right.
done.
Yeah,
And it comes out of
it's very
nowhere.
satisfying. We have a friend who actually sneezes like a cartoon. She's like, "Hey, chew," just like that.
But you know what? And I know people are nice and they're trying to stifle it and just try to hold it in so they don't disturb
Do
anybody.
you want your friends' heads to explode? Listen to this.
There is physical medical danger. No one knew.
If you plug your nose, plug your mouth, and sneeze, there's a huge amount of pressure
Yeah, there's
that
a lot
is
of force.
built up. And this gentleman did this, and guess what he did? He blew his throat open.
He blew a hole in his esophagus. I don't know why that's so awesome
He
to
felt
me.
the swelling start and then gurgling noises because air was going into his body along his spinal cord. Ew. He'll live.
He just doesn't want to anymore.
So next time you think when you need to pass gas, let her go because this could
No,
happen.
that's different. That's completely different.
This could-
You can hold that in. Women have had a lifetime of experience with this. But the
could-
sneeze, this is a medical issue.
Do both at the same time and relieve all the pressure, and then you'll survive.
one will
Ruptured
ever
of a
touch you.
an aneurysm, and he's got air trapped in his body now from it.
Wow. That is like the creepiest cautionary tale I have had this week.
Let it go. Let it go.
You blew a hole
It
in
does.
your
It
esophagus.
feels so awesome too.
That's really troubling.
All
Now,
right.
when did van living become a thing? Because I did not know about
where's
this.
You have it?
You've got it right there. You have your hand
Oh,
on
I
it.
have my hand on it. Van living.
Now, when did this become
I
a
could
thing? 'Cause
so do this.
we have cool, groovy friends on the coast who have talked about this, and if you've seen, our neighbor has one of these big, gigantic, super tall, like Mercedes vans.
That's not van living. Those things cost like 80 grand.
Yeah, but nonetheless, that's what the hipsters are using.
This
Let's
is
talk
what
about
the hipsters are looking. It's like a van.
And they do like little
Those
communities.
are Volkswagen. Some of those Volkswagens.
Yeah.
And they have a pop-up thing. That's kind of Some people just do like this picture. They just live in like a little van. And they travel the countryside wearing hemp shirts and such.
No, but this has actually become like a viable lifestyle to the point where there's now websites and magazines that are devoted to van living
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah. And I
Yes.
was like, really?
I would so have done this.
Well, this is so big now that
But now I am in love with my family and my responsibilities in life.
that have tied you down and bogged you.
So,
Into
do you
midlife
remember the
despair.
story about this guy who was working at Google? And do you remember he lived in his van in the parking lot?
This is one of the reasons it's become
He's paying off his student loans.
yeah, it's relatively popular there, but also the real estate in San Francisco and also up in Seattle where they have these huge tech areas
Right.
is unimaginable. Nobody can literally afford to buy a
can't.
house
You
there
can't.
because of like a 1,200 square foot like shack goes for like $3 or $4 million. They're in that kind of
Right.
level of desperation.
All right, so I've retrofitted a school bus with my friend, right? We
That's
have
pretty awesome.
Only school bus with a wood stove in it. Ow, that's dangerous. And I have probably, in my brain, have gone through outfitting a van for this purpose a couple thousand times. So let's see about the list they think is important against what I know. Shall we? Number 1, magnets for your doors and drawers. Really?
To keep everything shut.
Kid stuff.
Well, people don't know that. Keep going. Just because you're an expert, these are people who maybe want to try
Not
this.
an expert, but if you don't know that your drawers are going to open up as you're driving down the freeway, you don't deserve to drive.
Now, don't be mean.
You
Keep
shouldn't
going.
be able to drive. Okay, number 2 is a tiny 200-watt heater for cold nights.
Need that.
Now, to do that, you're going to need electricity. So you're going to need a solar panel, and you need some batteries to concentrate that energy to use later at night. All right, number 3, pick your stove for cooking. You're going to need a stove. What kind of stove do you need? How big does the stove need to be?
I'm guessing
Easy.
it's not big gourmet multi, course
Single burner,
feast.
single burner, maybe a double.
Really?
Folds down, folds back up, goes away. Everything's got to go away.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, number 5, super insulated cooler. You need a cooler. Of course you do.
Fridges never seem to work. I think every RV or anything we've ever bought, the fridge was always the first thing broken, and people just used it for storage. So a cooler almost makes more sense.
We have always really old, like 1960s trailers.
Well,
so.
yeah, but it sounds like a cooler actually makes more sense than trying to get a big, heavy fridge.
That reflective insulation to block out the sun and block in the warm. That also need a blackout material for windows because otherwise you won't be able to sleep. Sunshade for your front window, AC, DC inverter, hence the batteries, hence the solar, hence the heater working. Solar panels, such. I love this one, a camp chair. And you know the reason why you have a camp chair as opposed to camp chairs is because no woman's going to date you because you're living in a van down by the river.
Okay, should we move on?
Yes.
Here is the existential dilemma. We've been through this before here in Salt Lake
It's a
City.
lonely life on the road. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
but it's
sorry.
awesome. You're beholden to no one.
Is this a local
free.
story?
This one in particular is from California. However,
It's happened here.
It's reflecting back to here because of the hepatitis A outbreak. And this, I understand part of this, and it's intensely frustrating. But for community groups, and it's been everyone from Food Not Bombs to religious organizations who feed the homeless, this is a sacred duty to them. This is what they do. And there's parks and places that the homeless gather, and
they just show up.
And I'd like to be clear on something. It's not just the homeless. If you remember the park that's down on 7th East, on 6th South, this is there's tons and tons of elderly folks
people
there.
Show up
because they don't have enough money. They live on a pension and they're eating cat food. So actually, no, cat food's too expensive. Somebody told me that. So yeah, so you get a ton of elderly who may have homes, but you have a lot of single moms, and these people really count on that food.
Fruits and vegetables and stuff, and they just show up, and there's no. I don't even think that it's promoted except in the neighborhood.
Yeah, just kind of
and the
word
people
to word.
show up, and I so love what they do, and the fact that most of them turn into soup kitchens because you think about it, if you had a big pot, I could turn 20 gallons or 10 gallons of soup with very little material, very little fruits and vegetables and meat and some chicken, and you could make an incredible soup for the minimal amount of money.
Well, this is really sad. They actually have a religious group that's actually filing suit down in El Cajon, down in California,
Right.
because a group of them were actually arrested and given misdemeanor charges for passing out food to the homeless. One of them, this boy is so freaking adorable. His name is Palmer Everly.
Nice.
And he's 14, and he says, I was just handing out the toiletry items, and someone came up behind me and tapped me, and I said yes, and then he handcuffed me as I turned around.
Jeez.
You handcuffed a 14-year-old
Yeah.
named Ever Palmer Lee.
What do you got with that floss, buddy?
And I understand this, but because I get this, I get the hard position that the city is in. But the thing is, these groups are really savvy at this. They know about keeping food cold and hot. They know
Okay,
about,
so here's the liability. I have a food handler's permit. Do those people? I don't know. Was it prepared in the right place? I don't know. Did they transport it the right way? I don't know. I'm on feeding them that side, by the way. And so
there were ministers in Florida who did this, who knowingly went to jail, knowing that the next time they went to the park, that there would be police waiting for them and they would get
and
arrested.
usually it's based off the fact that it's someplace it has gone wrong.
And I do
so,
understand that, but for these people, it is still a survivable issue versus like, oh, well, I might get...
You know what the cool thing is, though? You can do this on private land. You're welcome.
Can you? Well, we actually have a friend of ours on Facebook who went through a legal system because of this feeding the homeless here. So we're going to see if we can get him to talk about it. But that to me is like the worst dilemma ever, because I sort of understand, especially with the hepatitis A outbreak. I sort of understand.
But that's I'm not going to say that's just the newest development.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been going on for
years.
People feeding people for years and years and tens of years and 20s and so I just think that soup kitchens back to the Depression.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would rather be arrested than stop, but this is a huge dilemma for a lot of these people, and it is hard to know.
And if you go on Google and put in Salt Lake City or Utah and look for different food movements and things like that, you can probably find a group in your own area and either go around and pick up the vegetables that supermarkets are putting aside for you and get them to the right place. Do it with your kids.
I think it's cool.
It is.
Except for if you're ever Palmerly and you just got handcuffed.
It happens,
It happens.
All right, so how big are your nachos?
This to me is like...
How big are they? how much guts do you have? Because this thing is like unbelievable.
I don't think it's guts. I think it's sheer gall.
No. This lady is like, she's determined. She had a plan. So Christmas came. Oh my gosh, it's Christmas. Oh, deck those halls with boughs of holly. Get a Christmas tree at Costco. And then put it up and everyone enjoys the tree.
Beautiful and magnificent and happy.
Christmas morning, the kids are underneath the tree opening their presents. Eggnog is being drank, abandoned. And everyone is having a great time. Now, a week or two after Christmas, it's time to take the Christmas tree down.
Say January 4th.
Okay, so you take it down, you box all the ornaments up. The kids help because that's what you do in your family.
And you're vacuuming like crazy because there's pine needles all over the
Right.
place because the tree is all dead.
And the lady then takes the tree outside like normal, right? And then she puts it on top of her car. What's going on here? Recycling center? No. Show them the picture. She takes it back to Costco and gets a full refund.
She demanded her money back because the tree was dead. The woman with the X on her face is the woman. And here's the best part. She got a full refund. She said, I'm returning it. It's dead. And the clerk looked at her and went, well, it's because it's a cut tree, ma'am, and it's January
People are
4th,
giving her
and-
crap over this, and I just think she's awesome because.
Are you kidding?
If you need an agent, any kind of performer, whatever, you need an agent or a salesperson.
This is the kind of
she's the one you want. She is the one you want. I think it's hilarious. That's a set of cojones. That is awesome.
That is horrible.
Well, it depends if you go the mean route. This tree died. Or you just go, hey, the tree died, and can I get my $80 back? Yes, here it is on a Costco card. I think it's guts. I couldn't do it. But don't you admire people who just
No, I think
could
it's
just
appalling. I
do that?
No, I think it's. All right, we leave you as I fume, and he thinks it's hysterical.
I
We
think
leave
it's
you with a
hysterical.
soothing view of dancing waters.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
We're doing Dancing Waters?
From the Todd and Erin morning stream. Oh, Sundance is coming up this weekend. Don't forget, we'll have all of your Insider's Guide tomorrow on the show.
Bye. Oh,